Hello, my achievers. Welcome to another literacy session. It's time for vocabulary. So are you ready to explore something new today? I sure hope that you are. Today, we're going to be building our vocabulary a little more. Remember I said, the more you read, the more you learn. We learn new words and we gain new experiences as we allow ourselves to navigate through reading texts and concepts that we discuss. Now, what do you think exactly is vocabulary building or building vocabulary? Now, vocabulary by itself is a set of words used in a specific language. It comprises of all the words that you understand when you write or read something or even listen to someone speak. Our vocabulary consists of all the words that we understand, that we feel or comprehend in the correct context. So when we learn new words and their meanings, we are building our vocabulary. And mind you, when we learn new words and their meaning, we should also practice using them in our speech and in our writing. So, what really happens when we build our vocabulary? 1, it increases our ability to communicate by writing, conversing, or making speeches. It helps in school, at work, and in our social interactions. It also enables you to understand others' ideas better and to have the satisfaction of getting your thoughts and ideas across more effectively. Now, how can we build our vocabulary? Can we just do it by reading? I think there are other ways. Being aware of words. Instead of avoiding unfamiliar words when we read, we should take a closer look at them. We can guess the word's meaning from its context. That is, the sense of the passage in which it appears. So we might stumble upon a word that we don't know and we might say, oh, I'll skip that and continue. Mind you, if you do that, most likely you will not understand the passage in its entirety or the sentence. So it is very important for you to become aware of the word. Use all the skills you can to find the meaning of that word. Number 2, reading. When you read, you will find most of the words you should be learning. It is also the best way to check on words you have already learned. And remember, the more you read, the more you remember the words that you are supposed to. The more comfortable you become with pronunciation and spelling of those words when you read very often. Number 3, using a dictionary. We use this to look up on the meaning of unfamiliar words. So you stumble upon a word, you don't exactly know what it means, and maybe you tried figuring out the meaning based on the context in which it was used, but still, it's a bit difficult. Well, the dictionary is your friend. Use the dictionary to find the right meaning of the word, and then you move on. Number 4, studying and reviewing regularly. Once you have begun looking up words and you know which ones to study, vocabulary building is simply a matter of reviewing the words regularly until you fix them in your memory. So, like we always encourage you at the end of the lesson, review your work. If you don't understand something, review the video. If you still don't get it, find the textbook, find the topic, and review whatever we would have discussed. So you see, studying and reviewing helps you to build that vocabulary. Now, let's read this passage. A famous West Indian cricketer and try to identify a few unfamiliar words, meaning words that we might not use very often, and then we'll see how we can build our vocabulary by becoming a little more acquainted and comfortable with those unfamiliar words. Here is the story of a famous cricketer told by an excited fan. Monday, 18th May 1994 was the third day of the fifth cricket test match between West Indies and England at the Antigua Recreational Ground. Trinidadian Brian Charles Lara and Shivnarine Chandrupal of Guyana were at the crease. Guess what? Lara, an exciting batsman, was about to become the holder of the highest individual score in Test cricket. The atmosphere on the ground was electrifying. Eyes were glued to televisions, ears stuck to radios. The world, including Sir Garfield Sobers, stood still. Everyone was suffering from Tara fever. Whoopee! Then it happened. At 11:46 hours, Chris Lewis bowled a short ball and Brian Lara hooked it to the backward square leg boundary. Oh yes, he had done it. Lara had surpassed Sobers' 365 runs with that boundary. The world went wild. There was singing, dancing, and cavorting everywhere. People were showering accolades on this young cricketer in the cricket ground. When he was finally dismissed, he had scored 375 runs. At age 24, Lara was the greatest batsman on earth. He became the 12th batsman to score a triple century in a test match. Great! He is a living legend. So there you had it, boys and girls. That was our story. Did you enjoy it? Well, if you didn't, I surely did. Now, think about it. I think it was quite exciting to read, or for you, I hope that it was exciting to listen to. Now, what about the words? Were there words that you weren't familiar with? Words that you've never heard or used before? Or maybe you've heard someone using the word, but you never paid attention to it? Well, all right. Let's go through some of the words that may have been unfamiliar to you. Our first word, famous. Famous. F-A-M-O-U-S. Famous here is an adjective. What does the word famous mean? You would have seen that it said Monday, 18th May 1994 was the third day of the fifth cricket test match between West Indies and England at the Antigua Recreational Ground. So, recreation there is describing which ground? Surpassed. Surpassed. S-U-R-P-A-S-S-E-D. Surpassed. Surpassed here is a verb in the past tense. This is when you do something or become better than ever before, when one would have passed the level set by someone else. So in the passage, Brian Lara surpassed someone else's score. Atmosphere. Atmosphere. A-T-M-O-S-P-H-E-R-E. Atmosphere. Atmosphere here is a noun, and you would know that this is the prevailing tone or mood of a place, situation, or creative work. So if you're at a wedding, you ask, what is the atmosphere like? It's quite exciting. If you're at a funeral, what is the atmosphere like? It's quite sad. So it's the tone or the mood of the place that you're in or the activity that you're involved in. Accolades. Now this word, accolades, A-C-C-O-L-A-D-E-S. It says in the passage that the crowd shouted accolades. Accolades is a noun which means praises or approval being shouted for something or someone. So I want you to think of that word, accolades. Next we had electrifying. Now, I know that you might be thinking something like current, right? It's almost like that because it's a very strong feeling that you get. Electrifying there describes how the people were feeling. This is the arousing of a sudden sense of excitement or thrilling. So the match had the people in such a way that it was electrifying. Dismiss. D-I-S-M-I-S-S-E-D. Dismiss. Dismiss, being a verb, is when something or someone was ordered or allowed to leave or sent away. Dismiss, it means comes to an end. Cavorting. Have you ever heard that before? Cavorting. C-A-V-O-R-T-I-N-G. Cavorting is a verb. This is the jumping or dancing around excitedly. So the people were cavorting. You could imagine how they were dancing and shouting all around the place because they were excited. Then we have boundary. B-O-U-N-D-A-R-Y, boundary. Boundary here is a noun. This is a hit across the limit of the field, scoring 4 or 6. Now, have you ever played cricket and scored a boundary? I figured that you were quite excited when that happened. And then we have West Indian. West Indian. Now, you must have come across this word in some one of your social studies lesson or some one of your other reading lessons. West Indian here could be a noun or it could be an adjective. This is an official term used to refer to people of the West Indies. So mostly we say people of the Caribbean. Those in the West Indian region, we call them West Indian. So there you have it, boys and girls. That was our lesson for today. Try to take the words and make sentences with them. Use them in your sentences, use them in your speech. Let's recap a little what we've covered today. We learned that vocabulary is a set of words used in a specific language. It comprises of all the words that you understand when you read or write something or even listen to someone speak. Our vocabulary consists of all the words that we understand, feel, or comprehend in the correct context. Because sometimes we might hear a word or know a word, as we would say, and then use it incorrectly. So it does not add to the building of our vocabulary. So when we learn new words and their meanings, we are actually building our vocabulary. We can build our vocabulary by being aware of the word, reading, using the dictionary, and studying and reviewing regularly. Now we have once again concluded another literacy lesson. I'm Ms. Shamsuddin saying stay safe and see you next time.